right, guys, Saturday, Real Estate with Ryan in the studio. So excited to be with you on a Saturday, talking a little real estate. Real estate's not bad. What's better than real estate? Little Vols, little action on Saturday, little football. See, that's how you start your Saturday off. Do a little football, do a little Vols, then we do a little real estate with Ryan. We got it, both of your fixes in for the day. Now, I know the real estate market's hot, real hot. We'll talk about that in the show and so much more. Again, thank you for tuning in. April sends all the love. Sending love to all you guys as we close out the year 2020. Hard to believe October is here. And guess what? It's going quickly. Before you know it, October, I always say October is a busy month. It's some of my great ladies. My mom was born. I don't know how this happened. My mom was born in October. My daughter was born in October. And my beautiful wife was born in October. October is great for me. Things are awesome. So October is a good month. And then I was talking to my wife the other day. I said, it's funny. Some of the men in my family were born. My uncle was born in June. I'm born in June. Of course, my son wasn't born in June. My dad was born in June. And my grandpa was born in June. Is that wild? That's weird. Huh. So thank you for tuning in. As always, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is Real Estate with Ryan, owner, founder of Hometown Realty here in town, East Tennessee. We try to bring you the up-to-date information on the real estate market with a hometown feel. You guys know it as always. We're a proud sponsor of the Vols. And if you need anything in real estate, we got your back covered throughout the region. And we're going to have a good day today. I was talking about the show. I was talking to Miguel before I started. I said, I really don't even know what to say. We're just going to get on here and talk, and I hope it makes sense. So that's usually what we try to do. But today, not a lot of topics. We were rushed, helping a lot of clients. But I did see this. News is out. Home values rise, the fastest that they have in 2 years, 5.9% annually, month over month, 1% month over month, 5.9% annually. The highest rise in 2 years. What is going on? The market is at all-time highs. If you guys have followed the real estate market at all, you know inventory is lower. Buyer demand is on siege. And we're having those challenges. It's just one of those things. What are you going to do? You're going to go to the building. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well. Let's kind of bridge that gap. Well, lower inventory, the demand is there. Why? Well, why? Because they're leaving the big cities, man. They're leaving the big cities. They're leaving, they're going to the suburbs. We're talking about people are refiguring out where they want to live. With all this COVID-19 and so much going on in the marketplace, people are really sitting back looking at what's going on. Had a conversation with a good friend today, and we had lunch, and we were talking about the economy and just the real estate market and kind of where things are going at in a whole, and how employers are really going to affect what's going on. So a lot of employers in this particular line of work and in others, I'll pick on my lender for a little bit. Chris is good. A lot of the lenders aren't even working at the offices. They're still at home. And I think that's a challenge, but corporate policies are different than, smaller office policies. But the lenders are still working from home. Some of the big businesses still working from home. I said, still? He said, I think, Ryan, going to 2020, the end of 2020, 21, they're going to make it permanent. So what is business going to look like here in 2021 as we close the year out? Is everybody going to a home, working from home, remote? I know we all had to do the remote deal and the Zoom conferencing and things like that. And I think employers are looking at that space. The commercial market, we were chatting about that. The commercial market is under siege, very, very difficult in that marketplace. So what are we going to do in that atmosphere where people are going home? The space of the offices are becoming less and less important. Smaller is better. You've got entrepreneurs in the marketplace that are being more practical. I was talking to an agent today, and they said, hey, we're being more practical. Employees are being downsized, let go, remote. That's challenging for the economy. But as we're out here now, the market is strong. Some of the hottest markets in the area, just kind of year over year, and you can kind of pick some of the cities. D.C. is up 5.5%. L.A., 5.3% year over year. San Diego, 6.2%. Houston, 3.9% year over year. Miami, 4.7%. And Arizona at 9.7%. What are you seeing there? What are we seeing? Have an opportunity that we're in the marketplace that you're seeing a lot of these cities, and kind of what they were saying, people are leaving. They're heading to the suburbs. And there was an article on CNBC today, and the Redfin CEO was talking about people are really just looking at where they want to live and thinking about it. And they're looking at taxes. They're looking at, the cost of living in those cities. I really think, I really think that if you look at East Tennessee and what we have to offer, why we're seeing the demand is not only the crime rate, cost of living, taxes, not having a state income tax. There are very few states out there that still have a state income, that don't have a state income tax. And then the encouragement of our governor and the employment for jobs. And some states are the exact opposite. They were chatting a little bit more about this article, and really, what are we seeing across the country? Is COVID really the factor? And I think some of the consensus has been that the COVID obviously affected us for a little while, but what's really bothering people across the country is really not the COVID as much. Now, obviously, it's a real health concern, and everything that we're dealing with is a challenge. But what has affected real estate and deciding people to sell or relocate is the protests. So the unrest, the uncertainty, we always talk about it. I talked about it last week. Buyers buy and sellers sell when there's consumer confidence. We're about to approach the holiday season, and it's hard to believe that Black Friday is right around the corner. And, Black Friday is one of the biggest shopping days ever. I know it's like one of those days where you wake up. My mom would wake up like 3 or 4 in the morning. They get these deals and they'd be around the corner. And before you know it, people would line up to 5 a.m. Are we going to see that this year? Are we going to see that kind of urge? I think we're seeing a lot of stuff. You're seeing why Amazon stocks keep rising at sky levels. It's because everybody's going remote. A lot of the inventory that you see in some of the stores, they haven't been able to stock. Some stores, we were looking for some stuff for Isaac. We were out shopping. We went up to Sevierville and the outlets, and it was just a lot of the same merchandise that they had 6, 8, 9 months ago. So my wife, being the consumer, she said, well, I'm just going to go online. And I think you're going to see that. That trend has been coming there. So a lot of these retailers are going to have to do things to innovate and create in the market space. But that move to the suburbs, we're seeing that move here. I know in our office that we've helped so many different people from California, New York, Michigan, Florida, Ohio, several that have moved in my neighborhood up north, decided to make that move. I think you're going to see that across the U.S. I think East Tennessee is going to be one of your places that they're going to come settle. They're going to leave the California market and they're going to adopt the orange. They have to adopt the orange. That's one of the biggest things. If you're living in my neighborhood, you got to get a UT flag. You have to, man. You have to turn orange. That's part of the deal. So that being said, what does it see for the real estate market here coming up here in the quarter? Well, we'll talk more in the second half of the show. We're talking about, buyers are seeing limited inventory, less choices. They're going to new construction. Well, it just happened to be the new construction prices are skyrocketing. And not only they're skyrocketing, we're going to talk more about the building costs have gone up. Building cost, raw materials. We're actually doing a little patio in the back. I say little, it's not little, it's huge. And the material alone in just a couple days, and you factor that into the labor, it just cost me $3,000 difference. Now, I know it's not just the $3,000 difference, but there's a market there that if you're going to get good tradesmen, you're going to get your guys out there, they're paying more for material, they're paying more for supplies. Well, you know where that gets passed on through. That's the consumer. And so that's challenging. I know one of our subdivisions, we'll talk more about this cost, but one of the big builders in the areas put a pause on new construction and accepting new contracts, not knowing where these prices will be. So much going on. I will tell you, as we're going into the break, had a chance to go to the game last week. Super, super exciting. And it was different to see Neyland Stadium not packed, 100,000 fans plus just in there screaming. But at the end of the day, it was so fun to see football back in East Tennessee. So fun to get back in the stadium and see people and see our Vols win on just an amazing streak. We've got a second half of the show. You want to stay with us, Real Estate with Ryan. I'm going to catch you here after the break. Stay tuned.
When it comes to the real estate market, turn to the experts that focus on you. With over 20 years experience, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty knows what it takes. It's the right marketing. It's the right exposure. Ryan and April will use their expertise each step as they guide you through the home buying and selling process. Ultimately, it's about results.
You need someone you can trust that is committed to you.
You have a lot of choices, but the choice is simple. It's Hometown Realty.
Your friend promised we wouldn't be homeless.
He promised. He's doing everything to fix it.
You need to call and have him fix it now.
Hey, man.
Found us a house.
No, not yet. Let me call you back. We're working on it.
Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty.
He says he's doing the best he can do, honey.
Well, he's taken too long. I knew we should have gone with Ryan Coleman.
Choosing the right agent is never easy.
Call your hometown experts. We'll take care of all the details and make sure you don't get stuck in a motel. All right, thank you for staying with us. If you're on the other side of the break, we're talking a little bit about the market, talking about the end of the year. Hard to believe it's October and that home values are rising the last 2 years. We're talking the first segment, 5.9%, if you're tuning in after the break, year over year. Woo, so if you're selling your home, it is the time now. If you're thinking about buying or selling, we can help you. Buying, we can help you. We can make it all happen. I always tell you in the marketplace, it's never a buyer's or a seller's market. It's going to be one of the two. And if you wait, that old saying, if you wait, the challenge is that the interest rates may go up. And we're at an all-time record low. I got a quote out today, 30-year, 10%, 20% down, right about 2.875, 30-year fixed, conventional loan. Just outstanding rates. One of our clients going to take advantage of that. Hopefully we're going to help them and put that deal together. So, if you're ever thinking about moving to the suburbs or just relocating or with everything going on and, you're in the house and you're like, honey, I need that private office. I need that gym. I need that space for more stuff, guys. We always need more room for more stuff. Well, this is a time to do it. It's the opportunity, whether you're new construction to build, look for that resale. And yes, the market may be challenging. We were making some calls today, and I firmly believe when we talk to other clients, I say, listen, it is going to be challenging. But one of the biggest things you guys can do is you want to link up with a great agent. I know one if you need a number. But, being serious, you want to reach out to one that has your back. And you want somebody that's going to be there in your corner. It's really a team. I've got a great team here that works with me. I couldn't do it myself. And you have to recognize that in the market. I think the challenge is, we're in sales. So in the sales business, you're a salesman. So you automatically put up the guard. And I get it, right? But there's good people in the profession that it's not just about a sale. And we're never about that here. It's about helping you and see what we can do to serve value. Because when you help you get what you're looking for and we solve problems, that's how we all win. I mean, I'm not in the business of just forcing houses down somebody. We want to help them. And it's a big move. Trust me, it's a big move. Going on, and I just talked about one of the shows that I bought a property in Florida, and I wasn't involved, meaning I wasn't the agent. Usually I'm the agent, always involved in the transaction. So it was the first time in 21 years that I was not the agent. Now, I say that because that's kind of a little bit of a control freak on some of that. So I like to be involved in the game. I want to be involved, and I wasn't able to do the things that I usually do. And I can tell you that some of the frustrations that many consumers have may be with the agent that you choose. Communication is always going to be key. But in this market where there's limited inventory, you really got to put your heads together. And I know everybody thinks that the new listings are on Zillow and Realtor.com. I promise you some of the best deals that you'll never see, or the properties that are going to be 75, 80% are done through networking and they never hit the MLS or they're pre-sold. And recently, our MLS just has said, hey, you can't do that. You need to put everything on the MLS, and we're going to fine you all this money if you don't do it within the next 24, 48 hours. But trust me, that's where deals are done, all right? And those are where things happen. And so when you have somebody working for you, I always tell you buyer agency is important because, more than likely we're going to be paid by the seller, we're going to pay our fee, and you get somebody working together, especially one of the houses that we just sold. And I'll get back on my topic we're talking before I get on my rant, but we were talking about having that buyer agent. And when they're relocating a couple that we're helping from California, you need that agent to go out there and video the property. Or you do a little walkthrough. Or you bring one of our teams, we bring one of our drones to see exactly what you're getting. Because the last thing you want to do is buy that house sight unseen or fly all the way out here and it's not exactly what you're looking for. So you don't make the best decisions when you're pressured. And I'm a firm believer, though, even though you have to move quickly, having that agent in your corner is one of the best moves you're going to make in 2020 to work for you, to get the best rates. And we'll talk more about that. But if you're thinking about buying and you can't find that resale that you're looking for, guess what? We talked about it in the first half. Prices are going up on lumber. We talked about one of the subdivisions that we actually were writing for one of our great past clients, and they went up $45,000, I believe. Needless to say, my client wasn't too happy. And we didn't write the contract, so it cost a sale. But we're looking at building materials across the board, framing, structure, joists. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a remodel, building a patio on the backside of our property. Just not the timing. Just wasn't thinking, but that's what you do when your wife wants you to do that, isn't it? Yes, honey, we'll get it done with a smile. So one of those things you have to do. But framing is expensive now. Joist, headers, underlayment, roofing, siding, fascia, OSB, across the country, an average of $14,000 higher sales price. Builders are increasing by about $14,000 across the U.S. Number one, rising material and transportation cost, big factor. Regulatory cost, increasing and greater regulatory cost in communities goes straight to the bottom line. Individuals are paying more for their homes. Some communities have planning and approval process that results in duplication of efforts and excessive costs. A clear regulatory code with a reasonable amount of restrictions will make the end product less expensive for home buyers. There's more competition for construction, workers, and tradesmen. That's what we chatted about. That, you want to get that good contractor or you want to get those good subs where they're busy. And the challenge is what they used to make over on this deal, maybe that cost of living or that pricing has changed. So if the next guy charges this, guess what? The next guy is going to get more. And then that competition breeds. And so then we got lower mortgage rates. So people are refinancing, having the opportunity to pull out equity of their own home, do remodels, do things that they've been wanting to do. Well, now you pull a little cash out of your house, do a little equity, and refinance, and we can do that remodel. Maybe they're converting that basement that was never finished, and now they got that extra space that not only increase value, but cover their existing family. Maybe they were going to sell, and now they're not selling. So these things come on involved and understand what's going on. Just because we're going through the pandemic, we understand that a lot of people in October will be possibly facing eviction and losing their home. 35 million people could be facing eviction coming up. So these are challenging times that we're coming through, and kind of is definitely really, really sad. So those are things that were going on in October. And challenging as the stimulus bill and their, Congress and the House and everybody's working to try to get that done. So we're seeing that in the rental market and the housing market, that being an issue. We talked about refinancing. This is something I wanted to bring up that most people, if you're thinking about refinancing in the last quarter of the year, lenders are required to charge something called an adverse market fee. I didn't know anything about that. I just actually read it here recently. But an adverse market fee for your Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac loans are going to start December 1. Okay, so if you're going to close during that period of time frame, if you're locked in for 45 to 60 days, there's a 0.5% adverse market fee. It's going to be imposed by lenders and mortgage bankers in the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We have not heard anything on VA or FHA financing, but they're for loan balances below 125. So let's say you take about 2 months to close, you've applied for everything, and your loan gets pushed to from October to December. More than likely, you're going to be paying some extra fees and cost. Now, the Federal Housing Agency that oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac said that fee is intended to protect, or actually projected to make and cover up $6 billion in losses, largely loans due to the forbearance during the pandemic. Well. Seems like we're going to be paying that again, double. That's sad. And so these are for the reason of the unemployment and issues that are running across the country. So for an example, on a $280,000 mortgage, that 0.5% would mean you'd pay an extra $1,400 on that loan that you shouldn't. Just want to keep you informed with what's going on. So if you've refinanced, you're good. But if you're thinking about refinance, you might want to think twice about it. And that's where we're at. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. It's Real Estate with Ryan. Every week, every Saturday, we come to you to bring you the up-to-date information on the real estate market. If you didn't know, my name's Ryan Coleman, owner of Hometown Realty. And my team is here to help you all throughout the process. You know we're a proud sponsor of the Vols. We represent them proudly. We support our Vols. And for all your real estate needs, we're one of your top teams in East Tennessee. If you need us, it's the easiest number in town, 693-SOLD, or you can visit me at ryancoleman.org. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, and you guys have a great weekend.